Speaking of, let's say specific items, so my next question hopefully isn't too dumb, but I'm saying in the spirit of trying to be kind of really drill down and get something kind of tangible and practical. So you write in the section, Is It Agile, that RMF locks in the scope of single work items, making it completely unambiguous when they should start and when they should end. So here's my question. This locked in scope of a single work item, what is it? Is it a is it a document? Is it a task in a kind of task management software? Is it shared so that people can like anybody anywhere along the line from like ideation to, going into production? Is there some shared thing that everybody can look back at? And what is the scope of this single work item? So what tangible form does that scope take typically?
Um, it has, at a high level, two components to it, if you will. Um, the one is the actual requirement itself, if you will, whether it's a user story, in other words, a description of what you're asking the team to do. It could be a behavioral specification, a gherkin, if you will, given this, when this, then that. Right?
Okay.
Um, it could include things such as visual designs, right? Wireframes and actual pixel perfect designs that tell teams this is what you need to go and implement. This is what it should look like. This is how it should function, right? But that all the team when the teams get something to work on, it's a backlog item, right? So pretty much most teams work with backlog items of some sort. Uh, you can call it a story, you can call it a product backlog item or a sprint backlog item, but it's usually some work item that's in a backlog that the team ends up working with. And for us, this scope that gets locked in gets documented in the work item. The work item very clearly stipulates this is the actual scope. These are the specifications that need to be implemented. This is all of the work that needs to be done, testing that might need to be done. Do you need to do automation? But it's also additional things that the teams might need to do, such as adhering to their engineering standards, such as if a team is doing automated testing, then automated testing has been done and the tests are seen to pass in their automated fashion. Do they do code reviews? Do they do design reviews? Do they work with an architect? Do they have to write documentation? Because a lot of climbs beyond just the actual specification, especially when I do things like behavior-driven development, where I might have, I've had work items that have 15 different behavioral specifications, all of them that need to be implemented as part of the scope of this. And then there's a bunch of other behavioral specifications that surround that might not be part of the scope of this. But if you go look at your actual documentation, you'll see that they are there, they exist, but that's not what I'm asking the team to implement. I want them to implement these specific ones, including other things such as we need to update this documentation. Maybe there's documentation that needs to be updated for support. Maybe it's something for a technical writer. Maybe it's customer facing documentation. Maybe there's some legal review that needs to be done, et cetera, et cetera. Right. So there's all things, many different kinds of things that may need to be done as part of the scope of a work item. And that definition of done in the work item
In the work item, right.
is the intent behind that is to list out and document everything that is in scope to be completed for that work item when you take on that work item committed to development. Now, it might reference specifications and kind of other authoritative documents, such as a behavioral specification in the product knowledge base. It might reference a graphic design or a visual design in something like Figma, right? It might actually have a document that's attached to it that's maybe like an architectural diagram or something like that, right? So it may contain various different other artifacts and point to other places, but this is the one single place that's the gateway to all of that information for the team. But it also forms a very clear document, if you will, that stipulates all of these things that are in scope, where to find them, what they are.